Cool. Okay. I think we're good this time? Yes, it looks like it. Yeah. What do I do? Let's start with something positive, which is this lovely new model that I have. This PNG tuber model, as I believe they're called, I'm very new to this, was designed by a fantastic artist on Twitter called Lunary Bun Bun, and I will stick that on screen. You can go and find them on Twitter and probably other places, I'm not sure. I contacted him through Twitter. He was a gem to work with. And the model came out looking gorgeous. I'm very, very happy with it. He was very good at communicating, keeping me up on progress. Yeah, I would totally. I didn't really know what I was getting into going into it, to be completely frank. But he was much more knowledgeable than me. Very, very helpful. Very clearly a guy who knows what he's on about. So thank you to Luna for developing this wonderful model for me. Now let's get on to the reason I made this video. This fucking guy. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I literally only achieved this Prestige 100 3 or 4 days left on the anniversary event, just before this update came through. I got the Prestige 100 and I was like, holy shit, I've finally done it, oh my god, you know. I'm like, damn, what's next? I need to start teching builds, recording background footage, because I wanted to do a big clan guide. That was like my next goal, I guess. And I feel like I've kind of been punched in the gut for that. My motivation to do such a thing is totally gone. Excuse me. If anyone's not read the patch notes, they probably think I'm talking a complete load of nonsense right now. So let's clear that up. As of the Walking Dead chapter in Dead by Daylight, the clown has been, I guess, mini reworked in a way. It was supposed to be a buff, but it turned out to not be. So his afterpiece antidote, the yellow bottle. Let me move this bitch over. There we go. The yellow bottle, the afterpiece antidote, received a lot of buffs, and by a lot of buffs I mean 2 that are pretty significant. The haste you gain from it is now 12% rather than the 10 from before. Excuse me, which is fine, you know. Nothing really wrong with that. The only thing is, my only thing about it is, Clown's already a killer that a lot of survivors don't like, because you have to kind of know what the speed difference is to be able to play loops around him right, or just not get caught in his loops at all. So that's not, on its own, that already wouldn't be a popular change, I think, even if I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with it on its own. His afterpiece tonic, the pink bottles, have in response been nerfed from 15% down to 14%. I'm gonna be honest, this is a negligible difference. I don't see the point of it. It seems like, just like for the sake of, it looks like they've rebalanced him back out, but I genuinely don't think this will make much difference at all. Because you've gained 2% from your yellow bottles, but you're losing 1% from your pinks. So you've still got a 1% profit overall on speed. Good lord, this ambiance is loud. Let's turn that down a little bit more. Christ, it feels like I'm actually in there. The other thing is what kills it for me, and that's the activation speed of the afterpiece antidote, which is his yellow bottles. They now take only 1 second to activate instead of 2. And to be honest, I don't get it. I don't get it. What? Well, that's a lie, actually. I completely do. I get what they were going for, I think. I just don't agree with it, I suppose. What they've tried to do with this is encourage, incentivize clown players who aren't masterminds on the killer. Excuse me. Clown players who aren't masterminds on the killer to be able to use his yellow bottles a little bit more. And in that sense, it has achieved their objective, in that the skill floor of the yellow bottles has definitely gone down. But in all honesty, I don't think that's a good thing necessarily, because as a result, I'm apologising because I'm sort of going on the fly on this. I haven't scripted this video. I've literally only given it the time I had overnight to sort of gather my thoughts. What we've had as a result is that Clown's skill expression in his kit has not only been reduced, it's become irrelevant anyway. Because what's the point of knowing these perfect combinations of yellow and pink bottles that you can throw down a yellow, line up the pink, chase the survivor into the pink, and just narrowly get the hit, when you can instead throw yellow bottle a few feet in front of you. You can just walk at the survivor, hit, throw yellow bottle at your feet, walk at the survivor, down, hook. That, I don't want to say that the pink bottles are useless now, because I really don't think they are, but in their attempt to sort of even out the usage of the bottles, they've ended up kind of doing the opposite and just sort of flipping what they already had. So you primarily used the yellow bottles. Excuse me. You primarily use the yellow bottles, and now, even as I like to think, very experienced clown player, you barely use the pink bottles at all, to be honest. There is no point to the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours that I've spent learning how to use his yellow and pink bottles precisely, how to use his, for example, his ether, his cheap gin, his garage makeup, his sticky soda, that all ever so slightly tweak the gaps in speed and what you can achieve with your yellows and pinks. None of that matters anymore. Apologies. None of that matters anymore, as I was saying, because what's the point? You just throw a bottle at your feet, you pick up the haste, and you walk at the survivor. If there's a pallet in the way, you break the pallet, you throw a yellow bottle at your feet, and you walk at the survivor. The only thing I would say would be bring bamboozle, you know? And that is really sad to me, because this killer I've always thought was something really special, you know? You've got Doctor has an anti-loop power, sure. You've got Freddy now, who's got a very good anti-loop power. You've got, I don't know, Dredge has a very strong anti-loop. But Clown was unique in the way that it was all mind games. It was all about how well you understood your power and how well you understood survivors' movements and thought process and behaviour. And those two things were what made him really tick for me. And that was what made him really satisfying for me. You know, you'll hear people like Arinad, not Darva, who I have no doubt are even better clowns than myself, talking about how you, with Clown's yellow and pink bottles before, you could quite literally get a hit on almost any tile in every single map. And don't get me wrong, that might still be possible now. But what's the point? Like, it's so much more worth it to just bulldoze through the pallets. You know? It's so much more worth it to just kick the pallet, throw a bottle at your feet, and catch up faster. It's not even that the skill expression that I had is gone. It's that it's irrelevant now. Because there's a better way to play this killer that requires significantly less brain power. I don't know what else to say, to be honest. I'm not gonna make any comparisons to the Skull Merchant or the Knight or the Executioner. I just don't know what else to say. You know? Because... And I've said it before. Not that I have a particularly strong voice on the internet or anything. But I have always said, if you reduce the activation time for Clown's bottles, his skill expression will go out the window. And I'm not saying that for like an I told you so moment or anything, because I understand and respect what behaviour we're going for with this rework. And I'm calling it a rework because I don't know whether it's a buff or a nerf, frankly. I don't really know nor care where he lines up on the tier list now. And I don't feel there's a massive need for me to make a clown guide anymore, purely because there's no reason to learn his higher skill expression. And what you might as well do is stick on Dissolution or Brutal Strength and just use yellow bottles and haste your way to survivors. So yeah, that is literally all I wanted to say in this video. And this is going to seem so crap because it's not scripted or planned or anything. It's literally just me ad hoc ranting because I'm upset. But I guess the natural question is, what's next for me? Will I still play Clown? I honestly don't know. I have already, I'm ashamed to admit, been sizing up new mains because I'm just not thrilled to continue playing this killer anymore, which I'm gutted about. But what can I even do for it? You know? So I don't know. I don't think I have much else to say. But I don't know, hashtag revert clown, or whatever it is people say nowadays. They said that for Trickster, didn't they? Mind you, he never got his reversed, and he's getting supposedly a rework now. So, yeah. Thank you if you have watched this just over 15-minute nonsense rant of me feeling defeated over the elimination, I suppose, of my killer's skill expression on a C tier killer, by the way. I don't know what my next video is yet, but I will try and make it something at least a little bit more uplifting than this, because this was, well, the dead ambience in the background fit it perfectly. That's all I'll say. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you. Goodbye.